Our goal is to help you better understand outcomes. And we've presented 12 presentations into sort of a recap because I want to explain our outcomes compared to surgery outcomes. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the cases that we have had, and then tomorrow we're going to compare that to some published research about the benefit of surgery on patients with stenosis. So all our patients had sciatica and stenosis. I think most of them had, every one of them had stenosis, because what we want to do is we want to compare what our outcome results are compared to the surgical outcome results. So we're going to go through these cases again, and then at the end I'll show you what our outcomes are for these cases. And tomorrow we'll compare that to the research that is published for the surgery. I don't want to do it all in one day because it might make it too confusing. So we'll go through this. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I just want to do a recap. Stenosis is a narrowing of the spinal canal. We have a video for the 5 most common reasons for sciatica. One of them is stenosis, although technically most of these patients had more than one thing, but we're going to talk about stenosis for today because we're going to compare that with the surgical candidates for the research that was done. So there's a narrowing of the space both inside the spinal canal and where the nerve exits through what's called the foramen that then causes the pain that goes down the leg. So case study number 36, 55-year-old struggled with sciatica and back pain for 7 months, had all the conditions of sciatica, had all the reasons you can have sciatica. Started with a pain of a 7 and an oswestry of a 46. These are the variables that we will compare to identify outcomes. So pain is a scale of 0 to 10. Oswestry is from 0 to 100. The closer these numbers are to 0, the better you are, which means you have a better outcome. Patient came in, went through our protocol. I'm not going to talk too much about that at the end of it. Pain went from 7 to a 0. Oswestry went from a 46 down to a 0. So what's the outcome? Outcome is the pain is 7 better, 7 points. We score it by points. And the oswestry is 46 points better. Okay? That's case study number 36. Had all 5 conditions. 55-year-old male. 71-year-old male. Had it for 180 months. Had all 5 conditions. Okay? What we're comparing now is stenosis. Okay? But it had all the other things that were going to contribute to the sciatica. Oswestry 30, pain 7. At the end of it, pain was a 0, oswestry 10. What happened? 20. Pain 7 better, oswestry 10 points better. So what we look at is these numbers right here. Next case, 30 treatments, case study number 5. Patient, 71-year-old female, patient had back pain and sciatica for 8 months. These are the conditions. Now, every one of these patients in these case studies had treatment somewhere else before they saw us. So we know that they failed other therapies, so the outcomes for those therapies was very bad for these conditions. Came in to see us, pain 7, oswestry 44, went from a 0 to a 22. So what does that mean? Pain was 7 better, oswestry is 22 points better. This is how we compare outcomes. These are the numbers. Sometimes it's just pain, sometimes it's oswestry, sometimes it's both. Okay, for tomorrow we'll talk about what they scored on the surgical candidates. 51-year-old female, 48 months. Okay, so I had it for 4 years. Had degenerative disc, bulging disc, causing the sciatica, more importantly stenosis. These patients all had stenosis. Went from an 8 to a 0, from a 52 to a 0. So what does that mean? It means pain was 8 points better and oswestry was 52 points better. This is oswestry, this is patient reported data. Okay, why do we do this? We do this because nobody else is reporting data. Doctors are not obligated to report data. Case study 15, 36, 360 months. Okay, a long time. Had a lot of back pain. Back pain was a 10, oswestry is 64. At the end of it, pain was a 0, oswestry down to a 2. So what does that mean? Pain was 10 points better, oswestry was 62 points better. Okay, and this is back pain for a long time, for sure. Case study 22, 50-year-old female, 62 months. Had all the same things, had all 5, including causing the sciatica, including the stenosis that we've talked about. Pain was at a 7, oswestry 48. Pain went from a 0 down, and oswestry went to a 0. So what does that mean? How much difference is there? 7 points better for pain, 48 points better for the oswestry. Case study number 30, 56-year-old male, 36 months. Again, long time. Didn't happen overnight. It takes a long time. Has these conditions. Again, we're looking at stenosis. Back pain was an 8. Oswestry was a 40. At the end of it, pain was a 0. Oswestry was a 0. How much better? 8 better on pain, 40 better on oswestry. That is outcome. I know it's the same. 49-year-old female, 12 months. Had it for a year. Same thing. Stenosis, what we're looking at. Pain, 7. Oswestry, 64. Went from a 0 down to a 0 and an 18. How much better? 77 and 46. Okay. Same thing. 42-year-old male. Pain, an 8. Oswestry, 46. Pain, a 1. Oswestry, 18. This is outcome. When we talk about outcomes, this is outcome. Why do we do this? Because what we do is different. And quite frankly, it's better. If you know somebody that suffers, share this information. Okay? Case study 36. Same thing. A little younger, 23 years old, had it for 120 months. That's a long time. It's 10 years. Had all 5 conditions. Pain was an 8, oswestry 52. At the end of it, pain was a 0, oswestry 14. Functionally, feeling better. How much better was the pain? It was 8 better. How much better was the oswestry? 34. Okay? So more of the same. Pain 10, oswestry 50. Pain went down to a 1, oswestry went down to a 4. How much better? 9 better, 46 better. Okay? 10, 40, 0, 0. This is how we gauge it. This is what they had. This is who they are. This is how long they had it. This is how we know how much better they were. Okay? This is a graph of all these people that we just talked about. The average length of time that these patients had their back pain was 8.6 years. This is important. And we'll talk about why it's important tomorrow in the study. Oswestry improvement for these patients, stenosis patients, had all these different conditions, 40 points better. The average when they came in was 48. Okay, when they finished, they were an 8. Their average pain when they started was an 8, and when we finished, their pain was down below 1. It was 0.1, so it was almost 0. So how much improvement? 8.6 years, patients had stenosis. How much improvement? 40. How much pain improvement? 7.4, 7.8, 7.84. That's a lot of numbers. I get it. Even I'm confused. This is outcome. Okay? These patients went through the therapy. This is the benefit. This is outcome. So what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to compare our numbers. We're not going to go through all this again. We're going to say these are our numbers, and we'll compare it to the same numbers that came out of the study that's published. See, the key is to identify what is happening by looking at the published literature. It's the only place it exists because doctors don't have to put it out there. Okay? They may do a study and say, here's the benefit of these treatments, and then give you a number. We're doing it. We're doing it right now. We're doing it for you. So that's what's happening. So if you like what we're talking about here today, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have sciatica or you know has somebody that has sciatica, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It'll be live. Once live, you'll see it come up as live. So that's it for today. It was a lot of numbers. I'm a little confused. I'm out. It's late. I got to go home and watch some football, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Subscribe and share.